And welcome once again to episode 52 of Minecraft City Building. My name is Dr. Wasabi. Or at least I hope it's episode 52. Honestly, folks, I think when you make over 50 episodes of the same series, each episode kind of melts into the same thing. But that doesn't mind me, folks, because we are back with another fantastic episode. In our last episode, we focused on the city park, focused on the northwest. Wait, northwest? Never eat shredded wheat. Yes, northwest. Oh, my brain sometimes. The northwest part of the map with the amazing city park. I was really happy with how this came out, but apart from that, the main area we are going to be focusing on is in the kind of port area of the city for a fantastic high-tech build. But before I go into any more on what that mystery building in the distance is, I just want to say if you do like what I do, please like this video and subscribe. Okay, folks, so it's been a bit of a while since I've last been on the city. For those who know, it's been a pretty busy few weeks for myself. Obviously, FNAF Ruin has come out, so that means a lot of tutorial making and content. That's kind of been building up over the past few weeks, so making a city episode hasn't been as easy as it would sound, but I thought I would kind of stretch my legs, so to speak, building wise, and do some more building on the city. Now, the main area we're going to be focusing on today is, of course, this plot over here, neighbouring this massive kind of Victorian-style skyscraper overlooking the harbour of New Walden. Much like Boston of Fallout 4, I really want there to be a good contrast between old architectural styles and, of course, the new high-tech architectural styles of the Fallout universe, as seen in the contrast between the high-rise, kind of hotel apartment complex. I think it's called the Sunshine Towers or something like that. I'll have to check Planet Minecraft, but the contrast between these kind of high-tech skyscrapers and, of course, the more traditional Victorian tower blocks. And I think after we have done this magnificent high-tech skyscraper to be, I think we'll do some awesome interior streams just to finish off these buildings in particular, because I don't want to build too many husks, so to speak, because it'll make the city look shallow and hollow, and we don't want that, folks, now do we? So, with introductions out of the way, let's get into the video. So our main plan for the city, folks, is to be constructing a lovely high-tech skyscraper, of course in the Fallout style, that is going to contrast beautifully with this old Victorian high-rise. The idea of this build is to provide a contrast with the older districts against the newer districts. So the plan that I have over here is that we're going to have the skyscraper be as tall, if not taller, than the Victorian high-rise itself, and it's going to reach over and kind of border on the roof area like so, in a kind of almost organic way in that respect. So part of the high-tech skyscraper will grow on top of the roof in a sort of contrast development that really kind of emphasizes the contrast of ages in the city itself. In terms of inspiration, I've been looking on Instagram recently just for like ideas for new builds, and I was really fascinated by some of the pictures on there. Just the modern renovations to old buildings really kind of struck a chord with me, and how I could recreate that using the high-tech architectural style. So instead of like completely renovating this building, I've chosen to have this kind of high-rise over here eclipsing the Victorian tower like so, sort of as a metaphor, so to speak, but also to provide a nice contrast between the high-tech downtown area, which is bordered by this wonderful car bridge in the retro style, and of course the older, more brick and mortar parts of the city, which include the bank, of course the archives, but still have a little bit of a high-tech peppering now and then. Now for our block contrast, I have chosen a delicious orange concrete as the main kind of color complement, alongside a lighter secondary color system of light gray and of course white concrete. Now, of course, the wide array of colors in my inventory kind of shows the sort of process I was going through in terms of elimination. I didn't do the red because, oh, excuse me, a little voice crack. Now, I didn't do the red block because, of course, over here we have already a high-tech architectural building in the red color aesthetic. That's Rob's Robot Rentals. So, of course, I didn't want to do that. I also didn't want to do the blue, cyan, green, and lime design because of their more wacky colour nature and of course their saturation with the car bridge itself. So in the end I chose a lovely orange concrete because it's not exactly saturating with the brick, but it's not exactly the same as the orange terracotta. And with that I can always use a good complementary pairing of light grey and white concrete for those sticky outy bits that Fallout just loves. And by Fallout, I mean Fallout 4. So I think, folks, we're going to focus on the foundation and work our way up in a quick and timely manner. So I think without further ado, let's get in to our time lapse. And we are back from that amazing time lapse, folks. Let's see what we've done so far. Okay, now in terms of a lobby, we have a pretty good space on our hands, a good kind of square to work on, you know, put in an elevator, maybe a secondary balcony, but in terms of the foundation of this build, we are set. Now, of course, the next step to do is flesh out the overall shape of the skyscraper itself. So let's just start right now, shall we? So as I said before, I do want there to be an overhang to the next building. Now, whether this overhang is of a great amount or simply like a small piece of the building itself, it doesn't really matter as long as there is an overhang in general. We should be pretty much fine over here. Now, if I go like this. Yes, 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 yes. Awesome. Yeah, this is coming together nicely, I think. Now, in terms of high-tech architecture, I always love to do this in terms of shaping out the build, because with high-tech architecture, it's a very organic style of building. There's a lot of curves, unnatural kind of organic curves into things that most likely a building would not be able to hold up. The logic is that because of the space-age materials that Fallout universe has crafted over its many years in the pre-war world, these sort of architectural marvels, so to speak, such as the mass fusion building and of course Hub 360 is possible with the use of these new materials, and that kind of shows in the high-tech architectural style and of course the bright colors being used. So, of course, the next step, because we've essentially kind of figured out the general space of the skyscraper itself, I think we may do this a bit taller, but again, we'll get to that at the end of the episode. So what we're going to do is we're going to calculate the general vicinity or perimeter of the wall itself, just so we can fill it in a bit faster. Going down to the corner like so, 1478 and minus 488, and of course we're using orange concrete, so I was going to type that in as well. Apologies if you can hear my fingers going at it on the controller. Honestly, some of this filling in can get quite finicky, so I may cut this out. Okay, our first wall is down, and with that you can really see the contrast between the Victorian architecture to our left and of course the more muted pastel colours of the overpass. Now that the first wall is out of the way, I think it's time to finish off the other walls. So how long do you have to do? Well, not how long, how many do you have to do? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That shouldn't be too hard. Now, the one thing I do have to do handmade, so to speak, is the curved areas of the high-tech building itself, as because, you know, the way Minecraft works, you can't really kind of command fill a curve, so to speak. So in this case, we will have to do some stuff manually, but in terms of the rest of this build, a few fill-ins can't be helped. Okay, that's the second wall down. I dare say that is our third wall. And of course, for the more finicky bits, I think we'll do this by hand. And there we have it, folks, a roughly completed shape for our high-tech skyscraper. Now, of course, we do need to do a bit more detailing. This is not finished by a long shot. So I think off camera, I'm going to add some details, and I think we'll work on the roof most of the rest of the episode, I think, because we just need to put in some windows and some decals and stuff like that. But the roof is where the special bit's going to be. So I think with that spurring, let us proceed. Now that is much better, folks. So let's see what we've done so far. So obviously for the backside of this building, oh, apologies, folks, wrong collection of words. So for the rear of the building itself, there isn't much there yet, and I kind of want to focus more on the rooftop of the building itself, because we've essentially added all the details to the front. We have that classic high-tech style of the jutting out extensions with the complementary colors, making a really nice effect in my opinion. We have some industrial grates adding some nice texture, and of course this awesome kind of window piece over here, maybe for a double-floored office or something like that. But if we fly up to the roof, we can really start to see the overflowing nature of the high-tech architecture itself. You can see it kind of grows over to the Victorian high-rise, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. Now, for the roof area of this high-rise, I may have said before at the start that I do want to put some kind of like bar or cafe at the top. You know, somewhere where, you know, kind of middle-class fancies can, you know, walk up or take the elevator to have a nice coffee or a night on the town, perhaps some booze or whatever they do in the Fallout universe. You know, imagine like 50s nightlife, you know, snobbery, that kind of thing. So I think the first thing we're going to do in that regard is we're going to find some night vision potions to drink, so we can actually see this. There we go, much better. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add some flooring to our little cabana joint. So we're going to get some stripped spruce wood and we're going to start filling the floor until there's a nice little square for us to work with. Okay, so we have officially filled in the floor with a lovely stripped spruce wood, and alongside that I have filled up the walls with the same colour as the lobby below and replaced the stone ceiling with a lovely pairing of light grey concrete, which I'll kind of detail as we go along. So the only thing we have to do left is do the windows. So we're going to get out some white stained glass, like so. And yeah, that's this room officially done in terms of just making the textures. So all we need to do now is detailing. So with that, I think it's time to get in to another time lapse. And we are back from that amazing time lapse, but before I show you anything more, folks, I just want to say if you do like what I do, please like and subscribe. Now, let's have a look at what we built here. Honestly, as a kind of like first draft of this bar, I have a really good feeling about this. The basalt bar, in my opinion, is a really nice touch. It kind of separates it from the rest of the room, so it becomes a sort of centerpiece, so to speak. As for the rest of the rooms, it's mainly just seating, you know, chairs for people to sit down and have drinks, more kind of occupancy chairs, just so more people can sit down, perhaps if they're in a group, and of course some more leisurely seating out on the balcony with a big old bush wall to protect people from plummeting to their doom, so to speak. So in general, this is a really nice start, I think. I think off camera I'm going to be working a lot more of it on this, and then obviously show the finishing result on Planet Minecraft. Not the entire building itself, I think that'll be a separate post, but in terms of the bar in general, I will make that a building post on the website. So that is all she wrote, I'm afraid, for episode 52, I believe, of the Minecraft city building series. Honestly, a really good progress, I think. I just kind of came onto the server just to build some skyscrapers, and then I got the awesome idea to make this high-rise, and I'm really glad I kind of went through this, because it looks really nice in my opinion. The sort of epitome of high-tech architecture that I want to recreate in more unique and organic ways in the high-tech district. So of course that has been our episode 52 of constructing New Walden City. My name has been Dr. Wasabi. Of course, if you do like what I do, please like and subscribe. I bid you a most pleasant good evening, and of course, as always, God bless.
And now, folks, it is time to say good night. We sincerely appreciate your viewing and hope we've succeeded in providing you with an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Stay happy and come back again soon. Good night.